Okay, I think it's recording. So,
Awesome. Cool. How'd your week go?
yeah, busy week.
Busy.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah. What did you think of this assignment?
It was a little tricky. Um, I'm still working on that implementation part or the application part. I've got it pretty close, but I'm having problems with my addition operator. But just the way we're solving the problem is just a little different, kind of tricky for some reason.
I know, right? I personally thought this was one of my most difficult ones.
Yeah.
So this. But anyway, so what do you want to do? Let's see. Do you want me to go through the list implementation first?
Sure. Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Share screen. Let me pull up PuTTY. This implementation, like, it was one of our biggest ones we've done so far. There are like tons of iterators and nested classes and
yeah, it was a beast, that's for sure.
All right. Okay. Okay, let me share. All right. And I hope it records the screen too. So,
yeah, I guess we'll see.
Okay, so all right, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So this was really tricky for me. The trickiest part was figuring out where to put all the nested classes. It seems like they were all over the place. So pretty much the positioning, I couldn't figure it out, so I kind of referenced Brother Jones' example that he posted in the forum.
Right.
And basically had the class, the node class declared right in the private variable section.
Okay, interesting.
It's interesting. My guess would be so you're able to declare the node variables. I think the order has something to do with being able to declare those variables. So,
okay.
I had to have that class node right there, and a ton of iterators. The regular, the reverse, and the convert those two. So, and each one of them has a separate begin and end that you have to do for it.
Oh, geez.
So, of course, insert clear. And just add modify the back thread list. Okay, so here's the declaration of the node. Basically, change from week. Then iterator pretty much saying the perception that we've done. The only difference that you have here to a node variable instead of a pointer to t.
Right. Okay.
And so it's the same. It's pretty much the same, except it has constant iterator. Is the same, and it goes backwards. So you're going to next. So yeah, the other difference is that the plus you set it to the upper point. So.
Right.
So because before you had to raise all the designed up, so you get plus, but the point goes down.
Anywhere in memory, but they're just pointing to each other.
Right. Just the different numbers. Okay. for either classes. Copy instruction things there. For just all the collection problem there. And the assignment operator for the list class, between the things in the list class, it pretty much only adds in front of a node. It doesn't add to the option of that or things. So so that, and so that's how the operator I am loop list backwards.
Okay.
Because insert function is only insert.
Okay.
So okay, so which I'll show you. So I get the source node to inside and then say iterator loop through setting it to end, and an end iterator. The end iterator is pretty tricky. What I did dawn on me that you don't initialize node, yes, and do that node point that to the end.
Okay.
So when it reaches all your data and point the end of the list, and then iterate that data. So anyway, I use the search and iterator and I get an which is I think it's the algorithm finds next line, next kind of portion that's after this note array. So
okay.
I'm sorry, actually, I return it turns the iterator to the node inserted.
Okay.
Here. The is basically the free data all and reset for you.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And then this one is basically how you remember them.
Okay.
Make your detail in an element. Those are variable set. Okay. Content reorder just data at that and bang, turn the detail. And it's nice in class that you have a variable that doesn't know what the detail is. They're variables.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Insert that. Okay. And this is a little bit more simple than the one we did in the last class. Right. In doing decode, it's basically I delete conditions forever.
Oh, that's right. We could give it away.
So there's no boolean after that parameter here. So it's all there before, and for each before, there's a choice if you have to get end list. There's nothing before there. So it just has something there. If iterator is pointing to end or the null, then you're gonna set the pointers to that your new value is valid. So what it did is that if these are not equal, and if you return is not null, the list, or it is only gets it not if it's not null, but the list you have null, this is empty. The null enter. So if it's enter, then it's going to do this to set that list. And before to explain the diagram, basically, yeah. This is going to update detail variables when they change.
Right.
So basically, the value for new is doesn't exist null. Then you if your value doesn't exist. So
okay.
And the interesting thing is that you have to get each current. So you got using your iterator as a parameter. And then we can decide making just access the variable.
Right.
And that's I graduated so
cool.
Okay, let's see. So yeah, this is really tricky. You put your insert and erase function inside iterator. And I try to put in this, but yeah, one erase that you run. You both the iterator and the list stuff.
Okay.
And but apparently that could be friend functions, could function do massive variables. But
right.
Okay, and the insert. So basically more from the iterator.
Right.
And but I it's not going to be quick easy because they're just spaces we insert.
Right, just after that.
So because you're going to end matter inserting at the beginning. So all right, here's the long array. The function is pretty similar to what we did in the remove last week. Basically, nodes and part we remove that iterator.
Right.
Let's keep that if you're returning iterator, I name it.
Okay.
So otherwise, Python won't let it compile.
Weird, do they?
Yeah.
Understand?
Unless I tell you in the book.
Yeah.
But anyway, everything has a class. You have a type name of it.
Right.
And then there's a class.
Okay.
So you're based on your prediction offers. And then right in the middle, then you're going to determine which node you're going to when you're running your iterator to the middle you're going to point. And so if it's this, then what it is, but if it's at the beginning value, basically, if you just value, you do value, that's a point to set value point to after review instruction of the detail. And as you just type it in the point and return the pointer. So it's like non-default constructor there and set. Yeah. And the front end is that's a spectator responded. And it's an iterator element. So we'll put the erase so the generate the total value. And one other that isn't the end the is different than the end one. It's basically the same. Yeah, first, you're just erasing the beginning value. Yeah, that's fine. And this is pretty much what define with the mesh that I'm going to don't be enter. But yeah, I don't understand and because it's better for using on that I heard last week. I understand that it was and just understand was basically an iterative null and null. So but all ended with just iterative and null.
Yeah, I didn't know that later.
Yeah, pretty that letter that's the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, the I know work.
So can go to your okay, I did
yeah, it's not totally done. As we finished it, I got a lot of it still not finished. A couple of errors I got to figure out where I'm finding those, but I just show kind of what I got so far. And you completed that part for something on it? Or?
Yeah, I will. Cool. So how you got and
yeah, that's what I'm having trouble with. I mean, I might be having trouble with some other functions, but it's kind of hard to test it because function right now is fresh. But at least for the big larger, but there's all that. Yeah, oh, yeah,
I'll share my screen here.
Pull mine up. Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is what I've got. Well, I guess the first thing I did was I wrote the code for the Fibonacci number to calculate it just with integers first, just so I could make sure that I had an algorithm that would work. And so basically, for that first little test where it says how many Fibonacci numbers would you like to see, I just have an integer right now. I'll probably have to change that once I get my whole number class working. But first thing I do is I get 3 integer values. First one I call current, which is kind of the current number in the sequence, and then the previous number in the sequence, and then the sum, which is a sum of the current and the previous. In fact, I'm going to change that. And then what I do is I put a for loop in here, and I'm looping to the number that the user enters in this first part. And what I'm displaying, first thing I do is I display the current number, the value of the current, I guess, number, which in this case starts at 1. And then I add the current to the previous in this step to get the sum. And then I needed the sum so I could actually set the previous number to the current number that we were using there.
Right.
Then after that, I set the current number back to equal to the sum so that our numbers are in order so that they'll continue adding correctly. Basically, it's just adding the previous to the current, and it just keeps doing that for the remainder of the loop. And yeah, since I'm printing that number in the first case, seems to have that that part of the assignment working. I think I'm not sure if your solution looks kind of similar to something like this as far as the Fibonacci.
Yeah, that's what that's pretty much identical to what I did.
Okay.
For that part, it seemed like you couldn't really do it with less than 3 variables.
Right.
You needed those like 3 separate variables to keep track of your values, unless someone else has a better solution. But that's the best that I could do. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I was trying it with 2 at first, but I mean, you run into the problem where you want to keep track of the previous one, but you have to assign it kind of to the next, and the value changes without having that third value in there. So I think that's probably the best way to go about it, really. But
so does it output the Fibonacci in sequence with just that loop there, or?
Yeah, so this loop does output it as long as we're using integers. Like I'll show it. Well, I guess I've got a bug. Let me see, because I've still got that error. I don't know if it's compiling yet. I'll just need to do this. Well, it's giving me that one error from before, which I'm kind of having troubles.
Your whole number class of that.
Yeah, and the whole number here. But yeah, well, I'll not show it, but yeah, it's showing it. I mean, for that first part of the assignment, it'll show each KPI to whatever the user specifies. So that part's working okay without the whole number. Now I'm just working on my whole number class, and it took me a while to figure out kind of how to get this working using the whole number and using segments of 3 digits. And maybe my solution isn't quite up to scratch yet, and that might be part of why I'm having problems, but I might need a couple of functions in here. But I guess I'll show you what I've got so far in the class here. We've got our default and our non-default constructor, our copy constructor, which I haven't quite finished yet. Initially, I thought I would need like a private integer number in that class with a getter and a setter, which I'm not sure I'm really going to need since I've got that list of type integers, what I've declared it as for the large number. And so I may not be needing that integer. I thought initially, the way I was thinking about it, I thought I might need it, but I'm not sure I'll need that anymore. And this is another function to check for a carryover, which I thought I was going to need, and I probably can implement it somewhere, but I've got our plus equals. I haven't used the plus equals operator yet, but I set the assignment operator. I got that coded. I think it's right. I'm not totally sure yet because I'm still having problems with the addition operator.
Right.
Not the insertion operator, which I'm not sure it's totally right yet, just because I got to get this thing working so that I can kind of get it.
Yeah. So I was kind of confused why they had us do the plus equals operator, because I didn't really find it useful.
Yeah. Did you use it in your solution?
No, I just use the addition. So
yeah, because if going about it this way, all I really need is the addition operator, and I don't know if yours may look somewhat similar there, but yeah. So I don't even know if that's absolutely critical, but it's tricky for me. Debugging in classes is kind of tricky because you need multiple components kind of working sometimes to really tell if your class is doing what you want it to do, and if a couple of them aren't working, it's hard to narrow down the problem. That's kind of one of my struggles when building a class.
Right.
Finding a good spot to stop and debug and make sure everything's working, because it kind of needs a lot. But anyways, let me see. Whoops. Okay. So I guess just to get my non-default constructor, I didn't put the nice little titles on all these functions yet because I kind of just got lazy. I need to do that. But the non-default constructor here, I'll probably have to fix. Right now I'm just pushing a number, the integer number, just pushing that to the front of the list that I have in that class, which I'll probably need to do more there. But I was mainly focusing on trying to get the addition and the addition operator working, so that's why I'm a little behind on the other things. But
yeah, really, pretty much the only essential thing you're going to need is the addition operator, and the other is kind of bells and whistles, But
right, yeah, they're nice to have, but it's for what we're doing, not necessarily necessary. So I got my assignment operator here. Again, I'm not totally sure if it's right. I'm basically assigning the list from the right-hand side to the left-hand side, basically to this, and returning this. I'm not sure if it may need something else. I'm not sure, but that's what I've got there so far. And my insertion operator, it might need a little bit of work as well, but basically what I'm doing is I'm going through using an iterator, going through the right-hand side class. I'm here that the way I have the right-hand list is going to be, and so I mean I probably need to go through both of them, but just making sure that I'm not leaving a number out. I'm going through the larger one first, assuming that the right-hand side is the larger, and basically I'm printing the iterator. Well, I guess the dereferenced iterator, the dereference value in each list. How am I doing this again?
Yeah.
It's greater than or equal to 100, right? Because we only want 3 digits in each case, and if there's a case where there's less than 3 digits where it's not, you know, at the beginning, we need to add a few zeros, which is kind of what I'm attempting to do here. If the value is greater than or equal to 10, we're throwing in an extra 0, and then if greater than or equal to 100, we don't need an extra 0. But if we're less than 10, we'll probably need a couple of zeros with the with that value, and then printing the comma out here. Again, I'm not sure if this is working yet. It'll probably need a little work once I get the addition operator. Which that's where I'm having my trouble right now. Right now I can't get it to compile, and I'm not totally sure why. I think it might be kind of the way I am declaring it, and but I'm not totally sure. The message it gives me isn't very helpful, so I'm going to need to tinker with it. But
okay.
I guess
okay.
Oh, did you have something you wanted to add, or?
See, you could, if you wanted to, you could pull up my whole number file, and then just kind of see. You can maybe see what you need to add to it or whatever, or.
Yeah, and that'll probably be something I do to figure out that particular error. Trying to think. I guess I'll kind of talk you through my logic here, and let me know what you think.
Okay.
What I've got is to start. I've got a whole number sum first of all that'll be kind of the sum of the. Well, that'll be the sum of the numbers in each list. And I've got an iterator going through the left whole number list, iterator going through the right whole number list. And so right here I'm going through the bigger number, which should hopefully be the left list, but I probably need to make sure that I'm in the bounds of the right list as well. But I've got an integer called node sum here. It's just what I named it. Kind of the sum of each node is what I'm summing right there. And if the right, let's see, greater than or equal to, I'm trying to remember. So I'm only adding left-hand side and right-hand side if there is a right-hand side to add to. I'm assuming that the right-hand side is going to be a number that's smaller than the left-hand side, so it might not have as many lists. There might be one less list or so. But if that's the case, then not equal to, then we're adding the two values that are in the left list and the right list. We're just adding those together, whether, and they'll probably be greater than, in some cases, 1,000 or 999, I think is the max number we can get to, which I handle down here a little later, and I probably need to fix that still, but and then if I'm assuming that if in this case there is last node in the left-hand side, or last element in the list of the left-hand side, I'm just going to go ahead and push that onto the end of push that to the front of the, well, okay, the way I'm doing it is I'm pushing, if I understand the list right, when you push to the front, the elements kind of are moving back. So you're continually adding to the front. So the very first number I'm pushing is hopefully going to be towards the back if I keep pushing to the front. Am I right in thinking that?
Right. It basically just is however you want to set it up. You could push to the back or to the front, just as long as you know which direction you're going.
Yeah, and that's my plan. I'm pushing from the front, pushing everything back a little further.
Yeah, I believe that's what I did also. So
okay, yeah, and then here I've got the node sum number, and I'm trying to handle the carry here. I could probably use a different function here or there might be a nicer way to check this, but what I'm doing is if that node sum is greater than 999, I'm taking the remainder of that number, which should be the 3-digit number that needs to be stored, and I'm pushing that number into the onto the node onto the list, the sum list, and then I'm trying to figure out what to do with that extra one, which I need to figure out probably a little later. I'll be working on that more. That's kind of what I've got so far. So it's kind of a start. It's not finished yet. It needs a little work, but and that's what I've got so far. Once I get the assignment thing, at least compiling and running better, I'll be able to. They should be able to get it working at some point, but that's what I've got so far. Okay. I don't know if you wanted to go through yours a little bit.
Okay, sure.
No.
Let's see. Okay, you want me to pull up my screen again then, or?
Sure. Yeah, I guess we could.
Would that be, or would it be better to have your screen to compare both, or should I just pull up mine?
You can go ahead and pull up yours, okay. And I'll kind of keep track of where we're at. I'll have mine up here in the background so I can compare kind of what you got going.
All right.
But yeah, it's took me forever to figure out how I wanted to use that whole number class.
Right.
I think I'm headed in the right direction, but just it was a little different way of thinking of things for me, I guess.
Let's see, okay, next, what do I have here? Whole number. All right, there we go. Let's see where we go. Okay, here's my addition. So basically, I did the same thing with iterators. I decided to loop through kind of both at the same time. So we'd be staying in the same column, I guess,
Right.
Sometimes there wouldn't be a value from one side in the column. Sometimes there would be. So as long as you stay in the same column and add the values that are in the column, it's easier. Until both sides at least. Then if the value is in the then add some to the column. Add carry and always is one. They're just one value. So, your columns are based on thousands instead of what you have everything. And so here's my logic and so you have to next loop and then subtract 1,000 from whatever the sum is. Guess my reasoning is that if you're carrying one then you have to subtract down 1,000 from the column.
Right. And I guess I might give the remainder. I think that has this thing right. 1,000 what's left.
Right.
Okay.
Then with whatever you got, just insert the rest of your sums. I could just make it easier to switch the push function. And add what it did to the list. So there.
And back to the end of the list then.
Again, one check when I first did this is that single have all ones, so if you have extra carry in one column, then
okay, you have that track. Okay.
all columns actually carry on. You add extra in the column. So I did put those favorite.
Yeah, let's look Was there any abstraction?
That was my expression. I just decided to correct it, but
Okay. Okay.
it's pretty much the same. Yeah, except you're just tracking and adding. Yeah, this is I tried some implementation, but like a way high level. Yeah, that's work on it.
Okay.
But for my it's an operator, I use my reverse iterator to go backwards.
Oh, okay.
So it's easier for that digits from the back of my list. And then just with that kind of is how you did.
Yeah, zeros and anything.
And it's just easier than they did because it's already in correct format in this section. So all I have to do is output each section in order.
Gotcha.
And that also okay. So initially I decided it would just be to try to convert an integer into a one number. So I just converted it to string and reduced the string to easier.
Okay.
So that's another way to do it. And that's the way I want to do it. But it's easier for me to work with a string and try to convert it to a number.
Right. Okay.
So that's basically just kind of I don't think I get the string value, then just loop through both the values and convert it to a number.
Interesting. Okay.
That's kind of what it was easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to just do it.
Sure.
It's just numbers and string into read stuff. It's an extra insert the right to you go inside of the number. And that's it. Way back, you insert button, insert the right. And stuff. And after that, that's another way we have an integer to see the right. See like this one goes flying or whatever. And so you set number and it acceptor and it has this number string that has into this number function. And that string that's actually because with integers don't do some digits, so it can just be limited. So I guess so. And then plus I just on the did right away. And then
MySQL.
But yeah, that was part was the editor. It's pretty long time to this.
Yeah. It was actually a weird tile there too, so you can't really see where my logic is, but you have to figure out a little more. But, yeah, I'm glad we were able to get through that. It was I thought,
yeah, the whole number, but you're actually main. Because I started with I need digits. It already trying to loop this digits.
Oh, actually, we did it after I was developing an extra one as well. And I realized I can just initialize variables, start and then start your extra loop without having to output anything. But yeah, I tried it that way you use yours.
It's pretty much the same as yours. It's just like production by the doesn't happen. Sorry, never that went to the loop.
Right.
It's kind of like created a whole version of the vector, and then it's used variables to pretty much decide what we use.
Yeah, let's similar.
If you just change those to order,
yeah, either way, it doesn't really any heavy. We can do that. I trick to that then. I just change the numbers. Yeah, it works for me. If you want, I can go in and change there. I'm probably gonna work on it. I can add this type of code to benefit. Yeah, that's fine. That's always something. Always a million ways to do it. Conclusion. So very neat. Yeah, I guess you want to submit what you got. I'll send my team tomorrow. Email the team tomorrow. Go in and change a couple things and resubmit. I'll send you an email.
Okay, sure.
But I guess you should submit so that at least submit it, and we'll see if I can get up and running.
All right.
I think that's it. That's it for if you're all. It's okay for next week. Imagine we'll get some project that we most of them. All right, so you do. We'll see you later.
I think something else is on that needs code. Would you be able to put it in?